again with the sport.
With
That's-
10 patients, you have one to walk.
5 patients
5.
with spinal cord injection,
all of them.
like paraplegic, T12 spinal cord injury.
Yeah, but you have only one to walk.
Sorry?
For 5 patients, you have only one to walk again.
All of them.
All of them, but without electricity.
Yes, just the stem cell injection. But that those patients, they had T12.
Yeah.
Because it's difficult to regenerate the cervical spinal cord. It's more sophisticated, it's more complicated nerve connections in the spinal cord here. So
It's more
little-
complicated. It's more complicated
It's more complicated.
in the neck to the back.
Yeah, because this spinal cord has to supply to the hands, so there are like many complicated movements, you know. So it's very
Small.
It's difficult to basically recover the cervical spinal cord as compared to.
Yeah, more function in the neck
Exactly.
with the fingers.
Yeah, so it's
with
like
the
all
muscle.
the like respiratory function and you know.
Okay. But in the totality, how many years you start with that?
Since when did you start to work with this patient?
For him,
No, for
oh,
every patient.
many years ago, 2010.
2010.
We
Okay.
treated actually few hundred patients with spinal cord injury. Most of them with spinal cord, like stem cell injection. Many, like 25 patients with the electricity,
Yeah.
and 6 patients with the spinal cord local injection.
Okay. And this is new to use electricity. It's
Well, it's actually, if you look at the total number of patients in the whole world, there are only about 40 patients who got the electricity. So we treated 26 patients, so we have around 60% of the patients in the whole world.
I don't understand. Il a opéré 40 patients avec les stimulateurs au total.
40 patients in
40,
the
yeah,
world.
In the
40
world?
dans tout le monde. Pas lui,
And
mais
26
tout le monde.
here.
Ok.
So we treated 25 patients here.
Ok. Et puis sur les 40 ou 26, vous avez un feedback par rapport à ça?
Well, the feedback?
Yeah,
Oh
exactly.
yeah, I mean, of course, with epidural stimulation, patients who have good hand function, they are able to take steps. They are able to walk with the sport.
Yeah.
Most of them.
But you know, my first question it's that because if you don't train, of course you get worse. But if you train, you don't know what's the possibility to recovery. So I'm sure you have some patient to never train and to do nothing, and he makes the surgery, and after, of course, he train and he improves the body, so
Well,
he get better. It's difficult to know exactly what is better. It's electricity or it's just training. This is my
Usually, when a patient comes here and they do all this operation and they come over to Bangkok to get the treatment, they usually keep on training also home. Once they do this first step, it's
Yeah.
normal for the patient.
Yeah, but I speak before the
of course,
surgery.
If some patients we see after 2 years of injury, only 2 years, they lose a lot of muscles, so it's very difficult to recover. Some patients even 20 years after the injury, they train maybe like yourself, train a lot,
Yeah.
so they have a much better chance of recovery. So your muscles are very important, So if your muscles are active, it's easy to recover. Your
Yeah.
muscles are dead, so it's very, very
So they
difficult.
say it's the other way around, as you think. The people that are training have
Yeah.
much better chances to
Of
recover.
course, yeah. And even after the treatment, we have to train very, very hard.
Yeah,
That's also
yeah. For
very
me, it's not a problem to train, but
We have to train like 6 hours every day for at least 6 months.
yeah.
So that's
Okay. So it's interesting because me, I really want to know what is the best, and
well.
of course, it's about the money because it's 92,000 francs, so I need to fund some donation and to fund some money, and then if I make this surgery, I really would like to be sure I progress.
Well, yes, of course, it's a lot of money. So I think if you, it really depends upon your expectations. Really, if you think your hand function is the most important part, you want to really improve, then I would say we can do this spinal cord injection. But if you think you're happy with your hand function, and this is something you can maybe consider in the future, but you want to really stand up and take steps, maybe try to walk.
But what's the
then,
price? It's a 40.
For the-
40,000 euro
No,
for
it's around 40,000 euros, right? 52,000.
52,000 for the
50.
operation here. For
Yeah,
this
okay.
one here, it's like 92,000 with the
And
panels.
altogether,
With,
it's just
with
And
the
both?
stem cell, yes. The standard stem
and
cell.
both was the price?
For both, actually, we calculated before. I think it will be around 110 to 115,000 because epidural stimulation is 92. Then we have to add extra stem cell and extra surgery cost and extra, treatments, extra rehab. So it will
Yeah.
be 110 to maybe $115,000.
this includes the training that he has to do. He has to stay here for 6
For
months.
for epidural stimulation, it will be 35 days. For only this spinal cord injection is 24 days.
Yeah. And for example, if I make only the surgery and I stay 1 or 2 weeks and after I come back to train at home because I have my home coach and I train for 12 years, it's possible to do.
It will not make a big difference in terms of money
Okay.
because the most expensive part will be the stem cells and the surgery and first 10 days of the hospital stay because then you will be admitted to the hospital. So for extra 2 weeks, it is just outpatient because you have to stay on the outpatient room. You will not be admitted to the hospital. It's just rehab. So you will not save too much
Okay.
money. Really.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but up to you if you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. But now what's happening with the maps, with the mapping? Because in Switzerland you have some. Do you know maybe Grégoire Courtine? No, it's Grégoire Courtine. He worked for the research and he make with epicondylar therapy, but yeah, I see. But the movement it's not so smoothly. The movement of the legs it's not so because you put electricity in the legs and you try to do a right movement, and you have one legs to be straight, completely straight, or when you walk with electricity. We have some video of people do.
This is called mapping. Yes.
Yeah.
So you will do mapping here. So if you do epidural, you will stay here for around 5 to 6 weeks, like 35 days.
Yeah.
So we will do mapping.
Yeah. But can you explain me more in the detail which muscles work and exactly which contraction it
Well,
is?
we have to see after the surgery.
Because you don't know before.
Well, of course we do.
Et ma question c'est de savoir si comment est le mouvement des jambes, sur quel muscle ça contracte. Si la jambe elle est complètement tendue, par exemple la jambe droite, et après c'est l'autre qui plie, ou comment on sait exactement avec les courants, quel muscle vous utilisez.
Well, he wants to know once he does the mapping stuff, what muscles exactly will be the ones that are going to be used in the training.
Well, we will try to map all the muscles below your T12 level.
Yeah.
So it will be abdominal muscles, your gluteus, your quadriceps, and your lower limb muscle. So we will try to map all the muscles, because you have to use all of the muscles to properly take steps.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it will be all the muscles will be targeted.
Yeah. For using all the muscle when you
Yeah.
when you walk.
Yeah. Actually, so this location in the spinal cord. So this is the part of the spinal cord which control the movements in the legs. So basically, the purpose is to stimulate this part of the spinal cord. So once you stimulate here, it will be all the muscles below your T12 level.
That was a question? Or?
Yeah. Yeah. I think because the level T12 is the best level to form the
Yeah. So
the
this
best
is
recovery and the all muscles.
exactly.
For
So,
that.
so this is again sorry. So this is called. So this is a network of nerves, and all those nerves they actually supply to all the muscles below T12 level. So this part is the most important part for leg function.
Okay.
Yeah. For hand function is around C4, C5.
C4, C5. Yeah. And how many quadriplegic do you have a surgery?
Epidural, 10 quadriplegics with epidural. The thing is that we got very good functions in the legs, but not good function in the hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's two down.
Yeah, it's two down, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's just you know, just
Yeah, it's
below the
logic.
level
Yeah.
of injury. Yeah.
But he was better with the legs and maybe to have
Yeah,
more
of course.
stability.
Yes. Like David, you see this patient.
Yeah.
He is able to take steps now when you put him in the hoist, so he's able to walk. But
Yeah.
his hands are, still a big problem.
But without electricity?
No, with electricity.
Yeah, it's only with electricity. But you think or you are sure after 3 years
Well-
you can be better without
Well,
electricity?
I'm not
Because
sure. For
because
some-
the goal for me it's for sure to be better without electricity,
But-
to have new function, because it's only with electricity it's how you said, maybe you just put electricity in my nerves and he move, you know. You understand what me, my goal it's really to get better, but
Well,
without electricity after.
well, I'm not sure if it is 2 years or 3 years, or could be 5 years, could be more. You know?
Because you have
It
some
all
patient to train after 3 years after the surgery.
some information.
We have some patient to have
yeah,
to
I
train after 3 or 4 years.
Well, the first patient here
Yeah.
got in 2015. So this patient can have a good sensory function. When the electricity is off, he has the sensory function and he has the blood control, but not enough to walk into last 2 years. But if we look at the original research, which is done in the USA, the first patient was treated in 2011, and in 2016 the patient got most of the functions without electricity. So
Okay.
it's 5 years for one patient, and so it could be, we don't know really, and we don't know because it's a long process. It also depends on your location, because your injury level is very high, so the thing is that this electricity will be here, then it travels through the spinal cord, right? So this, let's say your injury level is at T9 or T8, then it's easier for the electricity to stimulate the regeneration, But if it is very high, it means that only very little electricity will travel to your neck.
Yeah.
So it's slower than someone with the lower level of injury.
Okay.
But
And why you don't put electrode in the up and in the back?
Well, if your injury level is at C3 or C2, then you can put at C5 level, then you can have the hand function or the respiratory function. Your injury is at C4, so this part of the spinal cord is very damaged, So if you put the electrodes at neck, it will not work.
Yeah. But I already make that in the Ukraine too. He put electrode in my neck in C5, C6, and my fingers move
But
a little
it
bit.
was a different kind of electrode. It was needle electrode, 2 needles,
Yeah.
They stimulate the nerves which supply to your hands. This is different type of electricity.
Okay.
So that's temporary really. It's called subcutaneous to stimulate 2 single nerves for hands, right?
Yeah.
But this one you have to have a healthy spinal cord to put it properly, and then it can transmit the signals through the spinal cord. So for this stimulator to work, the injury levels should be higher than this level.
Okay. And yeah, I have just a question about what's happened when, for example, I train with electricity and I decide to stop to train with electricity. Do you have some patient to take off, or you manage that after 2 or 3 years?
Well, we estimate it could be 2 to 3 years, but we don't know really. It could not be, of course, even after 2 to 3 years, the functions could not be as good as with the electricity. Because
Yeah.
for all the functions to perform without electricity, the spinal cord has to be regenerated. So it depends, for different patients it takes different amount of time.
Yeah, but I ask, je demande en fait comment ça se passe si on met les électrodes et puis qu'après pour différentes raisons, 1 année ou 2 ans après, on décide de les enlever ou qu'il y a un problème. C'est parce que j'avais eu ce problème justement là où ils m'avaient mis des électrodes au niveau du ventre pour la vessie, pour les jambes, et puis ils ont enlevé. Et c'est vrai que les fils avaient cassé, il y avait des adhérences.
Vous voulez savoir c'est tout ça qui arrive en patient qui décide d'enlever les électrodes, c'est ça, non?
Voilà, après 2 ou 3 ans ou...
Okay, he wants to know what happens to the patient that once they remove the electrodes from the bottom, like after 2 or 3 years, what would happen then?
It has never been done. All of them, they have the machine.
Okay, but all the patients use that now, for
Yeah,
for
all
example,
of them they use now.
for example, 3 or 5 or 6 years after.
Yes, they still use it. No one ever has 100% recovery where we can remove the electrodes. Some
Okay.
functions come back, even the electricity is off.
So he like to use that.
You have
Patient like
but
to.
in my opinion, yes. And the thing is that you don't even feel it, right? It's very low intensity electricity. So it's just in your body. You don't even feel you are having electricity. It's not like the other electricity you received before.
Yeah. Okay, it's so low and
It's so low.
it just
Because,
helps for the spinal cord.
because the other electricity you receive is far from the spinal cord, so they have to use very high intensity of electricity. This is actually a big chip right over the spinal cord into the epidural space, so you have to use very low intensity electricity. So most of the time they don't even feel it. It's just very low dose, so you can perform the functions, but it's not bother you. It will not make any trouble for you,
Okay.
and it's safe for the spinal cord. So I don't think it's realistic to expect like 100% recovery.
Yeah, of
I
course.
know this is your goal, right?
No, it's not my goal, but to get
walk-
better. To
walk-
get better.
Yeah. Okay. So if your goal is to really, like, not depending upon the electricity, I think it's little unrealistic, because again maybe you have to depend on this electricity for many years.
Yeah. Okay.
And it will not make any trouble. It can stay in your body. So this can stay in your body forever. This is like 9 to 11 years because this is a battery here. So its life is 9 to 11 years. After 9 to 11 years, you
And
have to.
where do you put this?
It's just in your abdominal wall on your backside here.
Yeah.
It's just under the skin.
Okay. Because before I have one ear, and when I do like that and like that, I have every time a little bit spasm and pain when I move because I have one ear for the bladder and for the legs. I make that in Switzerland, but yeah,
This one will be.
I take out here.
Yeah. It's just very small.
Okay.
Most of the patients they don't feel anything.
Okay.
Really. It's
Okay.
just,
And after 9 years, you have to.
Change.
Well, yes, we have to change the battery, but we don't know again how much is the battery, and because no patient got it 9 years ago. Really. But
Okay.
it should be simple surgery just to change the battery.
Okay. And you see some patient every year or every 2 years to do. Vous revoyez les patients toutes les années pour faire un contrôle, un check-up.
Ah, bien sûr, il y a beaucoup de personnes qui retournent ici pour faire deuxième traitement. Par exemple, David, il habite à Hong Kong, mais il vient ici chaque 6 mois pour faire le training et tout ça.
Okay, because you don't train in Hong Kong. Huh?
He does.
But yeah, actually, many patients they are very happy with the training here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
come
see.
back.
Yeah.
Because maybe we are more professional in epidural, so
Yeah, you